That's who you look for. You look for somebody that already is exhibiting the attributes that you're going to expect in a wife. If you look for the other thing, you're going to get exactly what you got. So the Torah was our example. It was our owner's manual. When you go buy a new car, in the glove box you normally find an owner's manual. You want to know how to change the spark plugs? Look in the owner's manual. Your car's overheating, you don't know why? Look in the owner's manual. The Torah is that owner's manual for the human life. We want to know why our children is rebellious? Look in the Torah. We want to know why our family's falling apart? Look in the Torah. We want to know why life's just beating us up? Look in the Torah. It's going to tell us. Because sin is in our life, if we comply to the Torah, I'm not saying it's going to be a bed of roses. I'm not saying that it's going to be sunshine and butterflies. Because Yeshua, in fact, promises just the opposite. He said that we would be hated and reviled among all men. But I'm telling you, if you walk this thing out, if you walk the Torah out, then you're working towards a complete relationship with the Father so you can be His bride. This is His ketubah. This is His marriage contract with us. And if we want to be in covenant with Him, if we want to be the bride of our Messiah, then we have to align to what He's established in His ketubah and the Torah. If we don't, then we're going to be counted unworthy to be His bride. We heard Yeshua tell the parable of the five wise and the 5 foolish virgins. We've heard Him tell parable after parable after parable that brings us right back to the Torah, to bring us back to the concepts of the Torah, to put them in real life application. That's what Yeshua was. He was the living example of the Torah. He was born of flesh, just like you and me. He had the same feelings, the same wants, the same desires that we had. The only difference was that He didn't have sin motivating Him to accomplish those things. He was born sinless. So He was able to withstand the wiles of the enemy, which we should have been if our father Adam would not have sinned in the garden. But because sin entered into the world, we had to have a supreme sacrifice, which was our Messiah Yeshua, which was Melchizedek. He started establishing this way back with our father Abraham. He started making this covenant to bring us to the place that we are now. So we could begin to see that all these things that He put into place were nothing more than shadow pictures to bring us to where we are now. When we begin to realize this and we begin to walk in that covenant, and we begin to recognize His authority in our spiritual lives and in our physical lives, that's what the Torah was. The Torah was to manage our physical lives. Yeshua, walking and living it out, was to manage our spiritual lives. So we could have both truth and grace. Because sin entered into the world, grace also had to enter into the world, or no flesh would have been saved. So Yeshua, by sacrificing His own life, became the perpetuation of that grace so we could be saved. So we wouldn't have to face the judgment that was set forth in the Torah. What's the penalty for sin in the Torah? Death. Yeshua took the penalty of death upon Himself, so we no longer have to face the penalty of death for our sins. To those that choose Him. You know, we have a saying that was propagated through the 80s and the 90s. Choose life. Choose life. Choose Yeshua. Because when you choose Yeshua, you choose life. We talked about that a few days ago, or a few weeks ago, when we talked about John 1:1. Within Him was the light and the life of man. Without Him, not one thing was created. Everything in this world is alive. The rocks are alive. I know that sounds crazy, but they're alive. They're moving. The plants are alive. The trees are alive. The air is alive. The birds are alive. Everything that God created has life in it because it's created in Him. But because sin entered into our lives, it brought about a change. It brought about death. So now we're on the decline and dying. But when that priesthood is reestablished, that order of Melchizedek, that holy priesthood, then life will enter back into the world again because sin will no longer remain. Let's keep reading. Verse 19. For the law made nothing perfect, but the bringing in of a better hope did. If nobody's been saved by the law, if Yeshua had never came, then nobody would have ever been saved. Because all they had was the law. But the bringing in of a better hope, the bringing in of Yeshua, the bringing in of that true priesthood, the order of Melchizedek, brought about hope. Because now we no longer have to face the penalty for breaking the law. We can now be renewed into life. We know that Yeshua is our advocate to the Father. He sits at the right hand of the Father, making intercession for us. He said, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory. We know that we are sinful by nature. But through Yeshua, who brought a better hope, we don't have to face the penalty of death. Because breaking the law brought about death. Verse 19 again. For the law made nothing perfect, but the bringing in of a better hope did, by the which we draw nigh unto Elohim. And insomuch as not without an oath he was made priest. There goes that word oath again. We read in the Torah just here a while back that when God makes an oath, He can't break His word. So then we read in Psalms 110 where He said, and Yod He Vav He said unto Adon, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies your footstool. Yahweh just made an oath with Yeshua. He just made an oath with him. You sit here at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. There's the oath. The confirmation. And insomuch as not without an oath he was made priest. For those priests were made without an oath. Aaron wasn't made with an oath, was he? Moses wasn't made with an oath. Levi wasn't made with an oath. Only one priesthood was ever made with an oath. And that is when our father Abraham met Melchizedek returning on the road. And he offered the covenant meal, the blood and the body, the same covenant meal that Yeshua made with his Talmudim at what we refer to as the Last Supper. So, the oath. We also read in the Torah here a couple weeks ago, what is able to absolve innocent blood from the land? Blood! The blood of that spilt, the innocent blood, must be shed as well. So, we talked about when Yeshua returns, He is going to come and put an end to Hasatan once and for all. He is the next of kin. Because, remember what we said? There were only 3 people ever born without sin. Adam, Eve, Yeshua. He wasn't born. He's without father, without mother, without descent, without beginning of life or end of days. Adam, Eve, Yeshua. The only ones born without sin.